I can then start recording the meeting, and this will then be shared on the Google Classroom. So if you're kicked out, I know people have had connection issues, we are now going to have the recordings that we can look back over. So if you do miss a bit, it's in there and it's good to go. I'm going to start presenting. I am going to present an entire screen to make life easier for me. And share, admit more people joining. And just in case you've not been on the Google Classrooms, I've just popped the 2 codes there. So if you are joining for the first time, the 2 codes for Classroom are now on the screen. Okay, just for those of you who have joined, I am recording this meeting, so you will be able to go over anything if you have been kicked out. So today we're looking at collaborative documents. In the Google Classroom, there is a collaborative doc and there's a Jamboard. Now, the collaborative doc had quite a few requests for access to this yesterday. And simply, you don't have access because I knew if I gave everyone access the day before, things would get a bit messy today. So right now it is view only for all of you. And I will change that when it's your turn to just go mad and actually contribute to the document. So this is a table. Quite simply, it's a table with some headings. So I've created a new doc. I will do that now just to show you. There's a shortcut for creating a new doc, and it's doc.new. You click that and click enter in a new tab, you'll get a brand new Google Doc. It saves you having to go through the new tab, going to the waffle menu, and then selecting docs, and then selecting blank. It's quite a long process. Whereas if we just type in doc.new to the browser, where you'd normally type in google.com, that will create a blank Google Doc for you. But as always, if you prefer, you can go through your Google Drive as well. So if you have somewhere you want to create that document in your Google Drive, you can select new and then Google Doc, and then that will create a new Google Doc. So there's a few ways to do that. To create the collaborative document, I always use a table. If you're not using a table, it can be really messy. And quite simply, it gets a bit mad if you don't have some kind of structure in place. So if you're using it, I always insert a table, and then you can just simply drag. And it does only go up to 20. So if you are doing this with your whole class, what to do is just go to the very last cell and then select tab, and then that will add in new rows very quickly. And also doc.new, the same shortcut works for slide.new, sheet.new, form.new. So you can use that little shortcut for quite a few of the Google tools. Also works for Google Keep, which is my favorite one for personal use. So you can pop in your class. I would tend to give people a number just to say, right, you're number 1 in this one, and then they can just stick to the same rows all the time. For online learning, that might be slightly challenging, and you may just want to simply have it that you have their name, just to keep it a bit more structured so they're not going on. And yes, I am using Chrome as my browser. So you're going on and you're just making sure that they have a clear idea of where their rows are. It will be quite messy for the 98 of us now in this meeting. When we come to go on, because there's 98 of us trying to find a row in the document, make sure you give them clear headings. So structure in that way. It might be question 1, question 2, question 3 if you're doing question and answer. It might be topics like I've got in our document. You know, we've got clear topics. Stuart, Mr. Brown at Athol Sinford, he has completed the first row for us already. He did create this document for us. So you can see it's clearly headed and what we're expecting in each column. If you don't do that, it can be a bit muddled as well. So what I would like you all to do is open a new tab. So just make sure you've opened a new tab and go to Google Classroom. I am now going to change it so that you can edit this document. I'm going to go in, so just so you can see the process. So this is me currently on, I think this is the East Lothian account. So many accounts, everyone. And I'm going to change it so that students can edit the file. And I just need to peek past my screen and make sure that's all done. And then I'll click save. So that's just that updated. So now when you go onto that document, and if you're already on that document, just refresh your screen. There's some people who have just arrived. So what we've done is we've gone to Classroom and we're opening the document. Make sure where you click, no one else has clicked. So this will get a bit messy. You'll see that there's people typing. So this is all happening live right now. It's very exciting when you first use it. I will keep my screen here so you can see the headings, because as we go through it, it may be that more of you are trying to access this and it jumps about. So what you've got is name, possibly your Twitter name as well. So if you do use Twitter, you can pop that in there if you want. Your school, the subject, stage or role, an image that best shows how you are currently feeling. I'm quite well refreshed today, so I don't know what image I'd choose there. Just to show you, I'm going to jump to the very last row. What I'll do is I'll do this on another screen, so I'm not moving it about for where I'm showing you what is happening. Just going to capture. Go through. Okay, so I will access Classroom. So when you want to insert an image, if you're not sure how to do that, you go to the insert option at the top here, select image, and then you can search the web. So this is searching the web for all images that are copyright free. So these are ones that you're free to use. You can reuse them, you can manipulate the images, it's all of that, you can edit them. They are okay to use. You will find that students will go, I can't find the picture that I want to use. That's simply because it won't be suitable for reuse. So you can search the web and you can pop in an image from there. And then what Stuart's got, he's happy to share knowledge on Microsoft tools and Glow in general. Stuart is also a Bing expert. He is an expert in all things Bing Maps, not Google Maps. Bing search, not Google search. So if you do want to use Bing at any point, rather than the Google tools, you can speak to Mr. Brown and I'm sure he'll be able to help you. Feel free to unmute Mr. Brown at any point. And yes, so as you can see, if you scroll through, we've got lots of different responses. We've got our get emojis going in there as well. I see some of you are using your emojis. And I'll just give you a bit of time. So if you think about possible uses for this in your classroom, it's quite nice for capturing what students have been up to. It's great for them to share a picture. So if you wanted to collate, you can collate pictures of maybe an artwork that they've done, and then they can do a little caption, and that will allow the whole class to see it in one place. We will go over creating collaborative slides. I think that is next week. So we'll show you how to do slide decks in this way, and then on Jamboard, just shortly, I will show you that one. So yes, Stuart sadly cannot unmute, so he cannot defend his love of Bing anymore right now. So can't see the presentation, keep getting kicked out of the meeting. So I am recording this meeting, so you will be able to go back over it. So if you are having major connection issues, don't worry. This recording will be posted into the Google Classroom later on today. Oh, hang on, Midlothian lot, I've not changed it for you lot. Sorry. I need to go back into your classroom. This is the issue with having so many things. Right, I'll just quickly edit. That's what's going on there. Edit the file. Here we go. Sorry. That will... Yeah, sorry. That's that sorted. So yeah, so again, this is all being recorded. So if you are having issues, don't worry. And Midlothian teachers, you should now be able to go in and edit it. I do apologise for missing that. Too many screens, too many classrooms, too many accounts at the moment. My brain is muddled. Okay, the next thing I will show you, so whilst those of you who are just joining on to that document to collaborate on it, I will show you the version history. So this is really useful if you are doing a collaborative document and say it just goes a bit wrong and suddenly everything's disappeared, or a student's complaining that someone's gone on and deleted all their work. So under File, we have the option to view the version history, and then you can see version history. So that then allows you, so if you can see down the side of my screen here, you can see who's all been on it and who's changed it. So this list here is people who have done some kind of a change onto the document. What you will see is this one here, and this is where I created the document. So this is where I can restore it. So I can restore this version. So if you do find at any point that you want to restore to a previous version because things didn't go quite to plan, you want to try it again, simply restore to the previous version, and that will change the whole document. I'm not going to do that because I'm aware you've all popped some questions into the document. And then in this one, I can click on here and I can see, if I hover over it, who has changed it. And you'll see it's all in different colors, so it's quite clear. So if you do have a sudden change, or someone's complaining that someone's gone and written where they shouldn't have, if you just hover over it, it will tell you the name of the person who did that change. So it will tell you exactly who was responsible. So it's quite a nice little teacher trick to have up the sleeve. And Mr. Halliday, yes, I think there are issues with the Midlothian laptops for Google Meet. I read something from Colin McCabe earlier, and it was saying that people keep getting kicked out of Meet, and I think digital services are aware of this issue and trying to work on it. So that's why I thought it would be useful to record for you. Right, now I'm going to go on to Jamboard. Now, again, I am going to allow you to edit this Jam, but I will show you what Jamboard is first, because this is typically something that's quite new to a lot of people. So to create a Jamboard, we can't do the jamboard.google.com. I'm just going to, yeah, and jamboard.google.com. So what I will do here, again, you can go to google.com. At the 3 dots, Jamboard is normally a bit further down. And then you can create a jam. So I am terrible at naming my jams. There is one that I've done previously at a session back in August where we had collaborative jams. So what a Jamboard is, I just make sure I'm clicking on the add new jam. I can't actually see past my laptop screen, so I keep having to peek over it like a meerkat. This is basically a whiteboard. So this is a space where you can have students draw. I created a video for Morriswood Primary School yesterday and using Jamboard as kind of like a storybook and a profile for a student to create, just capture all the pictures that they've taken. They can add in drawings, they can annotate it. There is, on the web browser, there's a few less options than on the app. So if you do happen to have a tablet or a phone at home where you can get the app, you can then use it to support what you're doing on Jamboard, because on the web browser there's quite significantly less options in terms of the pen tool. So you can just draw. Handy for if you're even wanting to explain maths using Screencastify extension. And then we've got post-it notes that we can write on. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to allow you to edit the Jamboard that is in the classroom. So again, I will just make it so that students can edit the file. I will click save. I'll remember to do the same in the Midlothian one as well this time. And if you can go in and open that jam, and on the first page, I have asked you, how might you use Jamboard? Now, I have got this open on my iPad next to me as well. So if we open it up, I can start doodling away on my iPad as well. So how might you use Jamboard? You can pop in a post-it note. You will see, I mean, I'm certainly someone who likes to scribble on things. And along the top, you'll see that there are different frames. So you can then go and click on that and move along. If it says too many people are viewing the file, if you just keep an eye on my screen and you'll see what's happening. So you can move along. And look, we've got all of these things coming in. Because all the post-it notes appear in the exact same location, I'll need to move them so that you can see them. Jamboard, I think you're okay typically for your class to access it. I've not had issues in terms of training before. Obviously, there's quite a large number of us trying to access the same file. Here we go. So I think right now that's 22 people are viewing it. So that may be the limit of it. I'm not, and yes. So when I'm seeing Elsa, you're asking about sharing a doc with your whole class. So what I did there was I created that as an assignment in Google Classroom. And then what I have done is I've made it that it's edit access rather than the make a copy for each student. So by changing it to edit access, students can then edit the exact same file and they're editing your original. So if you don't want them to edit the original, make a copy of it and share that in Classroom. But it's having this option here. So just in your drop-down menu, students can edit the file. Let's see how we're getting on. Once you've done a post-it note on the Jamboard, if you could come out of it just in case some people are wanting to try and get access to it. And the file, just to show you, is in the Techie Tea Party. So regardless of whether you're on the Mid Lothian or East Lothian account, go into classwork under docs, and then it's just next to the first introductions document that you had. So the Jamboard file is there. We go here. So yeah, we've got a few more things here. So it is quite nice. There's some examples I can put links to from Twitter that I've seen, certainly from my old school up in Aberdeen. You may need to click on view assignment. So if you refresh the page, because this was a newer addition to classwork earlier, click on classwork, click on collaborative docs, then view assignment. That will give you your instructions and the document will be there. Screencastify is a screen recording tool. It's what I've used for creating all of the how-to guides. I'll go over that. I can go over that at the end of this session if you want to stay on a bit longer just to see a bit more about that. For now, if you want to try creating a collaborative document, so create your new Google Doc. So create your doc.new. Insert your table. And then once you're happy with it, in your Google Classroom, whether it's the test one that you created yesterday, if you were here yesterday, or if it's one that you use regularly, go into Create Assignment. And then what you do is you add the document from your Google Drive. I'll go through this quite quickly just, and then I'll leave it on my screen so you can see what it looks like. You select add, and then you change it from students can view the file to students can edit the file. But if you want to have control like I did, and you're wanting them to have access to edit at a specific time, keep it as view and then go back in and edit and then make it edit the file. I'll have it as edit for now. And then if you are wanting it to be at a specific time that they have access to it, then I would suggest scheduling the document, scheduling that post. So it goes live at a specific time. So it doesn't sit there for a few days. People start editing it without having your instructions. So go in, make that document. Students can edit the file. And again, make sure your instructions are really clear so that their expectations are laid out. They know that you can see who's edited it and when. How you can change the document from landscape, portrait to landscape. You go into File, Page Setup, and then select landscape. You can also change the page color. I'm all about accessibility and making sure that things are accessible to all. So you can, if you're aware of perhaps a certain student requires a different color, you can make it accessible to all, and you can simply choose that color I'm going to customize it ever so slightly and lighten it. Select OK, and then your page will be that color. I'll go over that again tomorrow. I'm going to do a bit more on doc specific stuff tomorrow. This is more about the collaborative aspect today. So yeah, file, page setup, choose landscape, select OK. And then in your Google Classroom, you want it to be that students can edit the file for them to all add it. I'm just reading a question. Yes, so you cannot schedule materials or assignments for multiple classes. I think this is a feature that will be coming soon, but you cannot schedule for more than one class. You can only assign it or save it as a draft, then go in and schedule for each of your classes. But unfortunately, we cannot schedule for more than one. I think if everyone wants to request that feature, you select the question mark, request the feature, and then I'm going to do scheduling assignments, materials for more than one class, and then send. Don't need a screenshot. So I'm going to do that. If you all do it, more people who request it, it will happen. That's what's happened with everything in Google Classroom. The more the teachers request it, the more you are going to end up actually having that feature enabled. To exit the Jamboard, simply close that. And how do I access display documents? I'm not sure what you mean about that one, Mrs. Andrew. You can schedule for later on the same day. I do that quite a lot when I come to deliver training events for schools. I'm typically making them that morning, but I'll schedule them all for the afternoon. So you can always go in and schedule. It will automatically set it to tomorrow. But if you go in and schedule for today, you just have to make sure it's a time in the future. So I could make this scheduled for 12 o'clock and then I can schedule it. So you can always schedule for later on in that day. It's very useful to do, and it makes you look really organized, but quite often I'll schedule things half an hour before I want it to be posted. It just means it's posted at a nice round time rather than like 12:32 when I've actually done it. And no one knows when you scheduled it. You need to create the table. So you need to actually go in to Docs, create a new doc, insert table. You can do as small a table as you like to start with. Once you're happy, and I mean, you're more than welcome to play about with this for a bit longer prior to posting. And again, this recording will be posted, so you can always skip to this part to see what you need to do for creating the class assignment. I'm going to come out of that. I'll delete that as a draft as well. So you would go into create assignment. You can either create the doc from here as well and do your table from this part. It all works in the same way. There's all these new workflows that Google keep introducing and keeping us on our toes. Insert table, pop your table in, make sure you give it clear instructions. Can't type today. Instructions. And either put the student's name. I think for right now that's more useful to have their name or at least their initials that they find. And then come back into your classroom. Students can edit the file, give it a clear title, give it your instructions, and then you can assign it to your topic. So if you had this link to a literacy task, for example, you could then assign it to literacy. Any other questions, just pop them in the chat or you can unmute to ask them. And yes, you can edit what the pupils have added. I wouldn't suggest you do that. So what I would do instead, if I just delete all this, keep this nice and tidy, what I would suggest you do is going into the document. I'll go over this tomorrow some more, is adding comments rather than editing directly, or you can suggest. So in Google Docs, there's a nice feature at the top right where it says editing always, but if you click on it, you can go into suggesting mode. I use this quite a lot when I'm working on documents with other people, and I can suggest, so I'm only going to edit Stuart's one, G Suite and Google Classroom. And then you'll see it adds a comment with what I've suggested replacing it with, rather than trying to edit it directly. It means the students have more ownership. For those of you who are secondary teachers, when it comes to coursework, for example, you're not then directly changing what they have done. And then what I will say is you can also just highlight, and then a comment bubble appears next to it. And then you can click and comment, so you can suggest what they need to do. If it's anything inappropriate, yes, of course, delete it out. Don't be leaving that kind of stuff in there. Or you can and just highlight it, but it's far more difficult to have that conversation at the moment whilst everyone's online and can simply close their computer screen or switch off their phone. So yeah. Any other questions about that at the moment? If you are struggling to access the materials, if you only have the classwork for your class, you'll probably need to join the classroom. So I'll pop up my slides, make sure I'm in the right account again. Make sure you have joined the classroom for your local authority. So these are different depending on whether you're at East Lothian or Mid Lothian, simply for the fact that I can't have everyone in the same Google Classroom. The Jamboard, you go into google.com, 9 tiles, and then Jamboard. And then you can add from the bottom right where there's the add screen. You can create a Jamboard from your Google Drive by selecting new, going to more, and then Google Jamboard is this orange icon. And then that will just create a brand new one straight away. How do you join the Google Classroom? You simply go to classroom.google.com or go into Classroom, select the add at the top right and join class. Quite like this Q&A bit. This is quite fun for me. I did have quite a few emails yesterday, so if you do have anything following the sessions that you want clarified, just let me know. Whether it's, if you're in Mid Lothian, I'm in all of your school teams, so just ping me a message on there for any support, or if you want anything clarified. Also message me on the Google Classrooms itself. So by going into the stream, you can leave a comment underneath and I'll respond to them. That's what I spent yesterday doing. And also in, you can, if you're in East Lothian, you can just send me an email to my EduBuzz. In Mid Lothian, you're probably best sending me a chat message on Microsoft Teams. I access that more. I don't seem to get all of the messages. Additional sessions on Jamboard, I will hopefully have posted. I'll have a proper look into when I can host that time-wise. If you're happy for it to be at a 11:30 session following another one, I'll do that, and I'll just have the Jamboard session running straight on. The suggest comment function is just at the top right where you see it says editing, and then there's suggesting is there, and then anything that you type isn't saved straight. Well, it is saved, but it doesn't change the document. It just creates a little comment at the side. And if you want to add a comment, simply highlight some text, then a comment bubble appears at the right-hand side, and then you can type in your comment. I am going to just go over some Screencastify stuff now, but if you're not interested in that in the moment, you're free to leave the chat. Thank you for your time. Any questions, pop them in Classroom, pop them in a Microsoft Team for me. And yes, thank you. I'm not too sure in the Jamboard, checking who's left each post. I will look into that and share that tomorrow morning. So Screencastify, I'll just start going over that. And Screencastify, you'll see it on my screen up here. I can't zoom in on that, I'm afraid. It's very, very tiny. But it is an extension that allows you to record your screen. So this is enabled in both Mid Lothian and East Lothian. You can download it. You just can't download it onto your school laptops. You could get it on a Chromebook, or if you have a personal device, you can get it on there. So I'm logged in to Google. If I just show my home screen here, you will see I have got an awful lot of Google accounts. So all the Google Chrome accounts down here are all different Google accounts that I have. So I'm logged into each of these, going down the screen. And this means that anytime I open up my Google account, I have got the extensions I've installed for that one. So what I have on, I show you on this screen, this is a different account, so I have less extensions. I don't have Screencastify on this account. But on this one here, I do. So to get Screencastify, we need to go to the Chrome Web Store. And again, this won't work on your HP laptops that you have for your teaching laptop. It will only be there on your school Chromebook or on your personal device. For those of you in Mid Lothian, I think it has been pushed out to your school laptops. You then search for Screencastify. There is a code to get this for free. So what I will do, actually, I'll show you on this account because this one doesn't have it. So I'll go back to the web store. I'll search Screencastify. Then I can add to Chrome, and then that will install it. I add extension, and then you'll see it appear at the top right here. It will load just ever so shortly. Shona, I'm not sure about it getting pushed out to the East Lothian work laptops at the moment. I know there's issues with extensions there. I am going to speak to IT about that. And yeah, I'll request that I need to email IT with a few things such as this. So I will see what they say. Angus has tried, emailed yesterday. They're not going to do it. I will be pushy. So then what we do is we simply have a tab open. Everything in Screencastify saves into your Google Drive into a Screencastify folder. So if I show you on my other account, my drive, I have got a Screencastify folder, and you'll see all of these when I've had haircuts and all sorts are in there. So this is all of my recordings for this account. They all get saved straight away into your Google Drive. So it means you can access them on any account. To launch it and to start recording now, initially you'll have the free trial. There is a free upgrade for this, so I'm going to show you how to get that. I pay for it on my personal account, and I will say it's like $50 a year, and I don't mind paying it. I mean, I make quite a lot of use of it. Sign in with Google. You'll have all of this to go through the first time, but after that, it will be quite easy to set up. I am going to allow it access to the things that don't exist on this laptop. And here we go. So I can go unlimited, and you'll see it says $49 a year. I can then get started with that. And then there's a redeem coupon, and this is where you type in cast_COVID, a word I try not to use too much. And then that gives you that for free. So you'll see that now has total due is $0. So that's it for free. And that I think it's till about the summertime, but they may extend it. And then you can activate the license. So that is it now. I have unlimited recordings, and you don't have a time cap. I think the other ones have a time cap on them if you just use the free version. Then I can go in, and then I can start recording. So I can record my browser tab, my desktop, or only my webcam. So if you wanted to record a video for your students rather than using Google Meet, I'll type the code into the chat. So it's cast_COVID. Free gifts, exactly. I'm treating you on a Wednesday. And then, yes, so you simply click on there, select record. It tends to do a little countdown. And let's just see, make sure. So it'll say it's recording. I don't have any microphone or anything set up for my PC, so it won't pick up any sound. But now what it's doing is it's recording everything I do. If you're doing this on your laptop or in a Chromebook, it will record all your speech as well. So then you can start recording. So typically if you've watched any of the videos in Techie Tea Party, I start from Google. I then start going into the classroom. And this is recording everything that I'm doing. On this account, I've only got training accounts for delivering Google certified training. I can show that. If I change windows, because I'm recording a screen, it's recording everything. I can then stop recording. And sometimes, I mean, I'm terrible for making bloopers when I'm recording. You can simply click on that and bin it straight away without even seeing that mistake. Just bin it. So you can skip tour. Then you can snip it. So if you do realize that you've waffled a bit at the start and you don't need to, you can drag the scissors and then it will cut it to there. And then again, at the end, you can drag the scissors to shorten it and then it will stop it. So you don't, there's other video editing tools built into it, but to be honest, I don't really use them. The trimming seems to be enough. You trim it and then it will be backed up into your Google Drive straight away. Yeah, you do not have to have your camera on because I mean, I have only done maybe 2 or 3 with the camera and you become very self-conscious. But if you do use it more and more, it is quite useful. But certainly if you want to talk through right now for online learning, you could use it to explain a process the students are following or just to do your teaching input so that they can access at any time. Gus is saying when you're needing a haircut, Warren, you can turn off your camera. Yeah. So yeah, if you are having a day where you're maybe not all that comfortable on the camera, you don't have to have it on. I mean, I've recorded things properly in your comfies. You don't need to worry about it. But you can have your screen there. And then simply what will have happened now, if I go into my Google Drive, I now have a Screencastify folder here. And then this is the recording from this morning. So it's that quick. It's in there. And then I can share that into Classroom. You may want to make it that you can get a shareable link just to make sure that they're not going to have an issue listening to it. The paid version and free version, there's no difference in how it saves and how quickly it saves. I've never found an issue between the two. I always had the free version on my EduBuzz, and then I had the paid version on my personal account. So I've never seen much of a difference between them. Any other questions about Screencastify? I mean, it is very simple to use. This will obviously be available, and I will just say play about with it. Now that you've got unlimited recordings with this upgrade, you can make them and delete them and just suss it out. Don't listen back to it too much though, because then you focus on when you take a breath or if when you went and then you become a bit paranoid about it and you do too many takes. The kids don't really care. So the 2 versions, so the free version, you get 50 recordings a year or a month, 50 recordings a month. And it's not unlimited. There's a cap to it. And you also don't get access to, there's the video editing stuff as well. And you can export as MP4 and you can export as GIF in the upgrade. I don't think you can export the audio and as MP4 in the free version, but I might be wrong. I've only had the paid version for so long. And the watermark is on the free version. You don't get that on the paid version. So on the upgrade, you won't have the big Screencastify banner going along the bottom. So you'll have seen my videos on the Techie Tea Party site. You don't have a big Screencastify logo going over it. And yes, you just pop the link into it so you can share it to Classroom straight away from here. So I could go into this, share to Classroom, select the Google Classroom that I want to share it with, and then I can create an assignment, make an announcement, create the material. Probably a material is the best one, if you want them to view it. And then once you've done that, select go, and then that'll be on your classroom. The expert audio, yes, I think it and the MP4 are more premium. The expert audio means that if you just want to take the sound and none of the video at all, they can listen to it. So if you were maybe reading, I mean, you could do this for reading a book or a piece of text and export the audio as an MP4, and then you can pop that into things like Google Slides. That's basically it for today. I'm going to stop recording. I'll stop recording now.